Today we're going to do a very quick definition video looking at all of the scientific definitions or the wording used for most of the SCP articles. Most of the SCP articles all do have very similar language, and it's important for us to know exactly what the definitions mean so that we don't have to go over them every single time and that we're not confused every time we see them. The main ones that we're going to talk about today are the object class definitions. Now, every SCP has an object class, and there are 5 main object classes that we're going to talk about today. There's safe, Euclid, keter, thaumiel, and neutralized. The first one we're going to start with is a safe object class. Many of the SCPs that have been classed as safe are in fact incredibly dangerous if messed with. So they may need something to be able to activate, or maybe they need to be fed, or they need to be around water, or they need to be in contact with a human for them to actually activate. And this is why they'll be classed as safe, because they are quite easy to keep away from things like that. The second class we'll talk about is Euclid. Now this is the one that is the most prevalent in terms of all of the SCPs, because this is the one where there's quite a lot of scope between what is classed as a Euclid. SCPs that are classified as Euclid are ones that require more resources to contain completely, or where containment isn't always reliable. And this may mean that they just don't understand what this creature can do, or that it's really unpredictable. Most SCPs that are classed as sentient or have some sort of thought pattern behind them of their own are normally classed as Euclid, because they're a little bit more unpredictable than the ones that only do something if you touch them and you know exactly what's going to happen, good or bad. Keter class is one of the highest classes in terms of how hard it is to contain. So it being one of the highest as a keter class doesn't always mean that it's really dangerous, it just means it's kind of difficult to keep safe away from other people. A keter class SCP is something that is exceedingly difficult to contain consistently or reliably, with containment procedures often being extensive and complex. The Foundation does struggle to sometimes even contain these SCPs at all, especially if there is no solid understanding about this thing, or maybe we don't have the technology to actually counter what it can do. If you think about something that can fly through walls, how on earth do you even try and stick that in a box and keep it away from everything? It's stuff like that. It's not necessarily dangerous, it's just trying to keep it away from everything and anything. There is one more class that we'll talk about, which is quite rare to be honest, but we may cover them at some point, and that's thaumiel. Thaumiel class SCPs are the ones that the Foundation uses to actually contain other SCPs. So sometimes they're really helpful, not necessarily bad in a way, but they are the highest in terms of the status. Even the staff have to be very highly rated to be able to interact with one of these thaumiel SCPs. The last class that we'll talk about is Neutralized. Now this is exactly what it sounds like. Neutralized SCPs are SCPs that no longer have those really strange abilities, that are no longer something to worry about, and maybe they've lost it because they've been deactivated, they've been destroyed, or maybe it's just turned off and no one knows why. But that's what the term means, they are neutralized. On the SCP website there's actually a really good explanation about how we can understand why these things are given this sort of classification. It's called the locked box test. If we had a locked box and we could lock an SCP within the box, leave it alone, and nothing bad happens, then it is probably a safe classification SCP. However, if you locked it in the box and left it alone, and you don't really know what's going to happen, then it might be a Euclid SCP. If you locked this thing in a box and left it alone and it escapes, then that's a keter SCP. If the SCP is the box, then it is probably thaumiel. Now I hope this video has given you a little bit more information about some of the definitions and the terms within the SCP Foundation. I'd like to say thank you so much for listening and for watching. If you'd like to see any more of my videos, please check them out with the links on the screen. Like if you guys enjoyed, and please subscribe if you're not already. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!